right. We've got a Super Bowl. Here we are at Scorched Earth. This is the JT version. Can't wait till Brother Brian gets here. Please. I know this show isn't that good. It's just me bouncing stuff off the wall. But, man, oh, man, I'm going to tell you some stuff nobody else is going to tell you. Brother Brian will be here in like 2 weeks. Just working out some technical issues. I think he's sunning himself in the south of France. I saw Den of Thieves again this weekend. Damn, that's spectacular. That is just good stuff. Not as good as the first, but man, that's a good movie. That is a really good movie. And so we got our Super Bowl. The Kansas City Chiefs will be playing the Philadelphia Eagles. It's a replay of a game 2 years ago. The line is Kansas City minus 1.5. Over-unders 49.5. Moving up from 48.5 pretty quickly. And, you know, just seeing the way the teams played today, it makes perfect sense. To me, I think this over-under is going to settle about 51. I just don't see anybody being leery of it. Now, with that said, I remember a couple years ago when the Rams played the Patriots, we thought it would be a 70-point game, and it didn't even break 20. So my thoughts on the game were the Eagles were just better. Washington was real good. You can see where they are missing players on the defensive side of the ball. They're just not that good. Lattimore, the guy was great 3-4 years ago. That bus has passed, and everybody knows to pick on him. And he had some penalties. They didn't hurt him too much. It would have really hurt him if they would have got that 2-point conversion. But, you know, it was just one of those days. I mean, the first play that Philadelphia ran, you know, Saquon Barkley ran for 60 yards. Bobby Wagner got caught up with the defensive end, couldn't fill the gap, and boom, he was gone. And that's definitely something Kansas City's going to have to figure out. I'm sure they will. I have a lot of faith in Steve Spagnuolo. I think Kansas City is the perfect team to deal with this, but we'll get into that in subsequent podcasts. The 55 points scored today by Philadelphia were the most since the merger in 1970. It was just turnovers. It was the perfect storm. You know, I thought Dan Quinn just had an amazing year. There was a couple times where they went for it on fourth down, and I was like, take the field goal, go for the field goal, get some points, get your guys believing. And he was right. I was wrong. For the most part, he made the right choices. It was just the turnovers. The 4 turnovers came back to bite him. Philadelphia cashed him in. It was just a difficult day. Hurts looked like he rebounded quite well from the Ram game. He had 246 passing. He had 3 rushing touchdowns. I will say this, and this is really what bothers me, especially going into the Super Bowl. If you're handicapping it, this guy seems to be holding the ball longer and longer, and I don't know what's going on here. And I think that's going to be a real problem with Chris Jones. He took a lot of big sacks late in the Ram game. They survived that. He took some very inopportune sacks today. And I think he made the Washington defense seem better than it really was. But be it as they may, they got the big win. They were just the better team. Another thing, and I know they got 2 weeks, and let's be honest, they're shooting up these guys, right? Painkillers, whatever, just get them on the field. The offensive line for Philly, which is one of their strengths, I'm kind of worried about because Dickerson and Juergens, man, they look like they got shot. I mean, that was a real problem. I don't know. I think that is going to be a very vulnerable area. And I know they get 2 weeks and everybody's going to sing Kumbaya and everybody's going to be okay and everybody's ready to go. But, man, those two guys don't look well. And Kansas City has a very, very good defensive line. I mean, Chris Jones. How are you going to stop Chris Jones? That's going to be a real problem. That guy is the one-man wrecking crew. That guy's like Hightower from Fast Times at Ridgemont High. He's literally jumping over people, tackling two people. You know, I mean, geez. That guy is like the reincarnation. He's like Lawrence Taylor Light. Now, one of my criticisms, I really do like Kevin Burkhardt. I think he is a super talented guy, but I don't know if any of you picked up this. But at the end of the first half, the score was 27-15. He kept saying that Philadelphia had a 13-point lead. And I was looking at it. You know how sometimes when you're watching the NBA or something, there's a score off on the ticker a little, and I was like, did I miss something? They kicked the field goal. They had 12. Now they got 15. What's going on? And he repeated it a couple times, and nobody said anything. And I'm thinking, you got producers in your ear. Why isn't anybody telling you it's only a 12-point lead? I mean, I know it's a failure of the public education system, but come on, Kevin, you're better than that. Whatever. And then let's go to the blind date, Tom Brady. Man, it's time to go. Double down with the Raiders. Do whatever you got to do. Be the owner at the owner meetings, whatever you got to do. But broadcasting just isn't your thing. I mean, I want to poke my eardrums out when he starts talking. I will say the good thing about Tom Brady is, because these guys are so competitive, I really do think Troy Aikman stepped up his game this year. I thought his announcing got so much better. I thought he was so much. It's not about being critical just to be critical, but to be honest and sincere. And I don't think Tom Brady is at anything. He loves everybody. Everybody's his buddy, whatever. But there was a comment he made in the first quarter that I'm going to repeat it. I wrote it down, and I want you to really just listen to what this is. He says, now, on their second drive, Washington had a 4th and, I believe, 6, and they tried to fake punt, and they actually completed it, right? Guy was going to block. He went past the defender. The punter threw a really nice pass, and it was a high risk, high reward. They kept going, and Tom Brady's quote was, and I wrote it down, "You don't try a fake punt unless you have a high probability of success." And I thought to myself, what is that? I mean, no kidding. Is there any trick play that you don't try, that you try because you don't think it's going to be highly successful? I mean, come on. I mean, honestly, this guy is moronic. If this guy didn't have the name Tom Brady, I'm not sure he could get color commentary for a high school football game. I mean, literally, it's like, oh, man, I love it. I love it. When we get through the first 5 minutes where he loves everything, and I would assume he's the one who's brought Fox into everybody's got a nickname, TR, AE, KB, TB, it's like, man, I don't know if that's the result of having VD. I don't know what's going on there, but you know what? We're going to have to endure one more game. I believe they got the Super Bowl. In Christ's sakes, man. I wish it could be like when I was growing up in LA and the Dodgers were on national television and you could just turn off the sound and you could put Vin Scully on the radio. I'm not sure who does the radio for the Super Bowl. As long as it's not Sean McDonough. Oh, God, please no. Please no. But Tom Brady, it's going to be the biggest game, and he's just a buffoon. He's greatest quarterback of all time, but at least Joe Montana got the hint. He knew when it was time to go. Buddy, the warning's on the wall. Let's go back to the AFC Championship game. Recap that. 32-29. It's just like I told you yesterday. It's going to be a late field goal by Kansas City. They're going to win it, and that's exactly what happened. Buffalo played magnificently. They tied it up at 29. Mahomes, 245. 1 touchdown, 2 rushing. How do you stop that guy? You know, especially when he does that little sideline dance where he kind of like goes out, not going to go out. I mean, I don't even know how the defenses compete with that. Well, this is the 4th time since January 2021 that Kansas City has ended the Bills season. We're in 2025. So we got 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. 4 out of the last 5 years, Kansas City has put the dagger in the Bills. And if you ask me what the difference was, Josh Allen was spectacular. He was just great. I think I'm not going to do everybody always needs on defense. Don't get me wrong. But you're not going to be drafting probably high enough to get a defensive stud. What I think they really need to do is get an A1 receiver. And, they have some good receivers. They've got their thing, but they need a burner. They need somebody to break down that backside defense. Allen, 237, 2 touchdowns. James Cook, great game, 85 yards, 2 touchdowns. I think the biggest play in the game was the Chiefs stopping Allen on 4th down. And honestly, I mean, the call is the call, but I don't even know in these, Philadelphia shoves and all these other things, these tush pushes, how do you really know where the guy is? Because he's like crowd surfing at a concert. He's on the back of all these guys laying on the ground. He's not touching the ground. I mean, I guess, at some point you're saying, well, his forward progress has stopped. But really, when is that now? Now that we live in an NFL where the offensive guards and tackles push you or pull you for another couple yards when, quote unquote, your momentum is stopped. I don't know. I just thought it was just bloody. It was just something else. I'm going to tell you straight out right now. I'm definitely, I'm going up to Vegas this week. I'm going to be doing the podcast from Vegas. I think Kansas City is the right side. I think we're going to see a three-peat. I think we're going to see something we've never seen before. I didn't think we would. In this era of free agency, I just never thought it. But Mahomes he's better than Brady. I mean, I don't even know what to do with that. All right. So like I said, I'll be doing one more podcast from LA tomorrow, and then we'll be in Vegas for the rest of the week. All right. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, leave your comments so that we can make it better, and peace out.